everybody, and welcome back to the United Stand. It is the 2 p.m. show and we've got a lot to discuss. Amrabat, is the fee finally agreed, and Manchester United going to agree to pay a fee to Fiorentina? Could be a loan with an obligation to buy, or it could actually be a permanent deal. We're looking more towards the loan obligation to buy, but Fiorentina won't take a flat-out loan. They want a fee involved with this. Some figures coming out of the Telegraph, and the British press, a bit of a tongue twister, are finally catching on to this now and saying that Amrabat is the future for Manchester United. That is who Eric Ten Hag wants, and it looks like this deal is edging closer. Also, some updates on a lot of our academy players coming through. Some great work from Faz, who obviously works at the United Stand, getting some good updates on a lot of the youth players, where they're heading out to. Is it permanent deals? Is it on loan? And also a little bit of news surrounding Eric Ten Hag and his disappointment in Manchester United's transfer team of not getting more players out the door who he doesn't want in Manchester United anymore. But loads to discuss on the afternoon show today, so make sure you get your chats in the comments. Also, I forgot to mention as well, a little update on Ryan Gravenberch. Obviously, Liverpool like they're going to submit a bid for Ryan Gravenberch, who was a top target for Manchester United. But that is because Manchester United are going all in on Amrabat and they can only get one player. Eric Ten Hag's priority is Amrabat, so a lot of people out there saying, you know, Gravenberch is turned down Man United to go to Liverpool. It's not the case. Manchester United had priority list. Amrabat's at the top. It was Gravenberch next. We can only go for one, and Amrabat's the player that we want. And I think it's definitely the player that we need. I'm not saying Gravenberch isn't a good player, because he is, but Amrabat is the position that we need at Manchester United right now in that midfield. But a lot to discuss, and let's get into it. So first of all, this is the bit that's the exciting bit, because this is where you know this story is moving. The Italian press, Fabrizio Romano, who's been saying that Amrabat to Manchester United has been on the cards. It literally first started circulating in June, the start of the transfer window. Eric Ten Hag has wanted Amrabat. He's been up there with the choices of midfielders for Manchester United. The British press, a lot of the time, were kind of saying, no, the Italian reports are over-exaggerating this a little bit. I don't think Man United are going to go and get him. If they wanted him by now, they would have gone for it. But it's actually turned out that Romano was right, and Ten Hag does want him. It's just Manchester United trying to find a way to do this with financial fair play, which basically translates to trying to find a way to do this without being able to ship off Maguire, McTominay and Donny van de Beek to free some money up. So it looks like things are starting to finally get off the mark, because the British newspaper Telegraph has come out and said, James Ducker from the Telegraph has come out and said, a potential fee of around 22 to 26 million for Sofian Amrabat is thought to have been discussed between Manchester United and Fiorentina. This is good, because we've not really had any fees kind of thrown out there, apart from what Romano said is what Fiorentina want, which was always stated to be around 29 million euros. Obviously, this is in pounds, 22 to 26, so it makes sense. The fact of fees actually being discussed is a big checkbox, and it looks like this deal is finally starting to get off the mark. Eventually, I mean, how many training sessions did Amrabat have to miss? We put out something, a really funny tweet that it was like, can someone start a GoFundMe for Amrabat to get his move to Manchester United? It just felt like this was never going to happen. I spoke a lot yesterday about how embarrassing it was that we had to offer a 2 million loan. Looks like a fee's finally being discussed. And what I wanted to say is, even though it does look like it's going to be a loan obligation to buy, where is the money for Dean Henderson going? The second goalkeeper we've brought in, I think we paid around 4.6 million for. We got 15 million plus 5 add-ons for Henderson. So that's around 10 million pounds that's going spare, without even adding the add-ons. So where's this money going? This should be going towards this deal, I think. But when we're looking at the fee, I think that will be part of the loan obligation to buy, because James Ducker went on to say Fiorentina are open to discussing a loan for Amrabat, but they want an obligation to buy within the loan deal. So they're open to discussing a loan deal as long as they are very clear about the fact that they want a fee at the end of this. They're not going to just let him go on a free next year when his contract is up. And that's absolutely right. I said on the show yesterday, Fiorentina would be absolutely stupid to just say, you know what, Amrabat, yeah, go on loan and you can go for free next year. They just wouldn't allow that, no matter how much Fiorentina and Amrabat have kind of agreed to part ways, and obviously they want to move on without him. He wants to move on without them. They wouldn't agree to just let him go for free when he's a player that's got value, and this is their last chance to get a little bit of money out of them. So I think what Man United will end up doing, and they've got to work quickly, because someone might want to let John Murto know the transfer window does close tomorrow, so we need to work quickly on this, and I think it will end up being a loan with an obligation to buy, with probably a little bit of a loan fee involved as well. But I have to wait and see on that, but it's good to see that kind of all of the outlets now are reporting this on that Amrabat's very strong, and it is what Manchester United wants. And Pogba FC's put a super chat in saying, "Hi Beth, I don't know, but I feel a midfield of Lindelof and Casemiro could work because Lindelof has trained as a defensive midfielder and also played there under Ten Hag. So why isn't he used as that?" Do you know what, Pogba? I'm going to block you. Lindelof in midfield? I'm only joking. I'm not going to do that. But has anyone seen the stream of Mark when someone suggests playing Lindelof in midfield and he starts getting really, really angry about it? It was absolutely hilarious. But no, Lindelof in midfield. He's got good ball playing abilities. But if he was good enough to play there for Man United, we would have seen it a lot more often, in my opinion. I like him as a centre-back, to be honest with you. Yeah, someone just put Maguire in the England squad. What a joke. Yeah. Obviously, that's something that has kind of been coming out from this morning. When Maguire gets picked for England, I understand the argument. He has been good for England in the past. But at the end of the day, he doesn't play football. He doesn't play. So on that basis, he shouldn't be going to the England camp because he doesn't play. He doesn't play football, so why is he getting picked? He's been good for England, so I get that, but he doesn't play week in, week out. And it's there is this whole narrative, well, he's never let England down. What have England won? It's not just on him, obviously, but what have England won? He's never let England down. England have underperformed for years, in my opinion. Yeah, we got to the final of the Euros, but that squad should be winning things. And I don't think that's down to Maguire. I think that's down to potentially the manager that we have in charge. Well, to be honest, the manager in charge wouldn't be my kind of option for a manager for England. And I do think if you actually got a very, very good manager in, or not even very good, a good level manager in, that England squad could go on to get to a World Cup final, win it even, win the Euros. I think we've got a really good team. So we kind of went off on a bit of a tangent there. We are talking about United. But yeah, Maguire being called up to the England squad, not a surprise, but also it's something that shouldn't be happening. Players not playing football being included in international teams, in my opinion. It's the same with Calvin Phillips. He's not kicked a ball, but I wonder if he will be called up. Is he even fit? I think he is fit. I wonder if he'll be called up because, players like Ward-Prowse shouldn't be missing out on these opportunities when he's performing week in, week out for West Ham. Players like Levi Colwill, who's performing at a really good level for Chelsea, young, exciting centre-back, should be getting the nod ahead of Maguire. He's playing more football than him at a high level in the Premier League, but we'll have to wait and see what Southgate does. Risic Mungol says, "Hi Beth, hope you are well. Amrabat or bust. Glazers are stingy owners when it comes to getting deals done, and we are an absolute farce. Maguire should just go." I agree, Maguire should go, and I'd have no issue with Maguire going to the England camp. I don't really care that much anyway, because I'm always a person where Man United is my priority. I like watching England in the Euros and in the World Cup, but I'm not like a massive England fan, die-hard England fan. In the World Cup and the Euros, I get proper into it, obviously, and you support your country, but Man United always comes above for me, so I'm not that bothered about it. It's only a set of friendlies. But when he gets to, the Euros next year, and if Maguire hasn't played football and he is starting ahead of the likes of Colwill, that would be a massive, massive question mark for me. And I would expect it if he was playing for West Ham every week and he took that move. West Ham's captain, that's what he got offered, playing every week. I would completely understand it, experienced. I would get that decision, but he's sitting on the bench at Man United, and if he still plays for England, it kind of just shows to other players, you know what, that you don't really have to go out there and play week in, week out and make the best of your career. He could, there's always the argument he could turn it around at United, but that's just not going to happen. Erik ten Hag's made it clear the way he feels just by the fact he never plays. Sabri MK42 says, "United squad need healthy diets, pears in my eyes." I don't get what you're saying there. Maybe I've just completely misread that. I'm not sure. But anyway, thank you for the super chat. But let's move on a little bit here. So Ben Jacobs as well came out and said, "Ryan Gravenberch didn't train for Bayern as he waits to see if Liverpool move materialises. Man United focus now on Amrabat. Man United are aware of Gravenberch keen on Liverpool. Work done on player side when still at Ajax, even though Liverpool were unsuccessful at the time, a factor." So again, looks like Gravenberch is going to go to Liverpool, and it looks like Amrabat is going to go to Manchester United. But I've got a question. I can get this poll going in the chat. Who would you prefer to go and get? Amrabat or Gravenberch? Because I sit here now and I'm not saying it in a cocky way, I'm saying it in a way that Manchester United have Champions League football and Liverpool don't. I think if you went to Gravenberch, offered him the same package as Liverpool and offered Bayern Munich the same fee, he would pick to come to Man United. This is purely happening because Man United's top priority is Amrabat, which he should be. We need someone who can control the midfield. Gravenberch is good at that, but he's slightly more offensive than what Amrabat is. We need someone who can play Casemiro's role to a high standard. Amrabat can do that. You know, we can give Casemiro a rest. He can also play as an 8 to control midfields in games such as, you know, away games against the top 6. It'd be perfect. Someone who's going to do the basics at a really, really high level, and that's what Amrabat does. He spread passes. He's got accurate passing. He doesn't give the ball away. He's good on the ball, actually, and he actually can control it really well and carry it as well. So he just does all the basics to a high level, which is exactly what Manchester United needs. So if you can get a poll on that, that would be great. Maybe admin's sleeping in the back. He has got a guest. No, he's coming up now. He's coming up now. But also, a little bit more on this, coming out from the Telegraph as well, was that Erik ten Hag considers the signing of a holding midfielder who can help control the game important to his plans, and he hopes Amrabat will be that addition. That is just music to my ears, to be honest, because everyone could see that we need that in the Man United squad. Everyone can see that's exactly what we're missing in that midfield. Ten Hag was coming under a lot of criticism, a lot of stick at the start of the season. Why has he only gone and bought Mason Mount? Does he not realise you can't play with 2 10s in the Premier League? Does he not realise you need to have a holding midfielder in the Premier League? Why is Ten Hag doing this? And a lot of the blame was getting put on Ten Hag on this. So that is music to my ears, because in my head I was like, I really like Mason Mount. He's a good signing, but if people are going to expect him to be a defensive addition to that midfield, that's just not going to happen. He's a midfielder that's going to contribute with assists, goals. He's going to work hard, but he's not someone that's going to, you know, be able to play the Casemiro role if you need it. It's just not. And I think a lot of people criticised that Mount signing because they didn't think it was a priority for the midfield because we had Eriksen, not because they thought he wasn't a very good player. I think that kind of the frustration went out on Mount. The reason I think we went for Mount first, who I've said I think we should have taken that opportunity, I think he will be a good player for Man United, is because a lot of teams were circling Mount. You know, Liverpool wanted him, Arsenal wanted him, I think Bayern Munich wanted him with Thomas Tuchel, Chelsea wanted to keep him. So Man United had to go in there and get that done. Like, they had to go and make sure that nobody else beat them to it. Mount chose Man United. So that money got spent there, maybe a little bit more than what they would have liked to pay. But don't get it wrong, since the start of this summer, since June, Erik ten Hag, it's not as if he prioritised Mount. He's gone to Man United. Well, this is what I think he said. I want someone who can play in the attacking midfield role, for example, Mason Mount. I want someone who can play as a number 6 and can add defensive security like Amrabat. Probably going to get rid of Fred and McTominay, so I want Amrabat. Would like a centre-back. I also need a striker desperately. And I want a goalkeeper as well. So it's the fact that, yeah, we went and got Mount because we had to do it. We had to do it because other teams were circling him. We didn't manage to get the centre-back because Maguire wouldn't leave. We obviously went and got the striker in Højlund, and then Man United have come up with this financial fair play excuse, which is right. We are asking, we don't have any money. But the thing is, it's because they've not been able to sell players, which Ten Hag, it even says here, like, he expected us to sell more players. He expected Amrabat to be in earlier. He's told Man United since June he wants Amrabat in. It's not Erik ten Hag's fault that Man United's transfer team haven't managed to get that deal done in time for him. And I just think it reflects at the end of the season, if we're looking at the Premier League table and you think, you know what, we could have done with that 3 points against Spurs away, would Amrabat have made that difference in the midfield? Would he have made that difference? Arsenal away, he probably won't be in time for that. Would Amrabat have made that difference? And if we're losing points at the start of the season because Erik ten Hag didn't have his priority signings in place, which we know for a fact Amrabat was a name being spoke about in June, it comes down to, again, the poor recruitment team not being able to get outgoing sorted and not being able to secure Erik ten Hag with the players he needs in time for the season to begin. We saw it last year with Casemiro coming in late, Antony coming in late. We're seeing it again with Amrabat coming in late. An important player to Erik ten Hag's plans, it says it here, he considers the signing of a holding midfielder who can help control the game to be very important to his plans. It's not Erik ten Hag's fault that Man United have let him down of getting Amrabat in earlier. So I think everyone just kind of needs to remember that point moving into the season. But it's glad to know when Erik ten Hag's been getting all this criticism, all along behind the scenes, he'll have been pushing for this Amrabat signing. He will know how important this is. And I know he said, you know, he wants Man United to be the best transition side in the world, which is great because it means good football for us. Good football, but he will know himself in the Premier League to win big big trophies, you need people in that midfield that can control the game, calm the game down, can make simple passes. A lot of them can also, play through the lines and hit them passes, make sure they go to feet. Someone that's got good passing accuracy, someone that's going to win the ball back and pass it on and create them attacks from deep. That's what Amrabat can do. He's not the fanciest footballer in the world, but he's going to track back, he's going to defend, and when he gets the ball, he can carry it without being tackled. A lot of the time, he's good at controlling it and keeping it close to him, and he's going to lay off a pass. It might not be the fanciest one, but he can pass it through the lines and progress the ball at the pitch, and that's exactly what Man United need. They need someone in there that can do that to a high level. I saw again, McTominay come on against Forest in the last few minutes of the game, and one of his first passes, it was such a simple one onto the midfield and it goes to nobody. And it's like just simple things like that, the basic stuff, you want it done right. Amrabat can do that. I mean, we've all seen that tackle he made on Mbappe in the World Cup. It was unreal. So not only can he, pass the ball and control it from midfield, his main factor is his defensive ability and his work rate. So that's going to be such a welcome addition into a team that really only has Casemiro who can make them crunching tackles in the midfield. So it's exciting. But anyway, the poll came up. Who would you prefer? And that's what I expected. 87% say Amrabat, 12% say Gravenberch. Not taking anything away from Gravenberch. He's a great player at 21 with a lot of potential. But for what Man United need attributes-wise, Amrabat's definitely the better option for us right now. But anyway, I like that chat. Carrying it would be handball, Beth. Thank you very much. I mean, carrying it out with his feet, obviously, but thank you for that. But that's where we're at. And someone said get both. Yeah, we should have been getting both. That's what Man United should have been doing. But, I mean, we're offering a 2 million loan fee in different instalments. Man United are absolutely skint. Absolutely skint right now. Like, ridiculously skint. So they're doing the best they can. They're doing the best they can. It's like having a leaky roof and then only being able to cover it up with newspaper. It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing because you have no money to get a proper roofer in and build the roof out of proper materials that's going to last. You've got to kind of paper it over for now until we kind of get through this patch and we can get it done properly. Whether that actually ever comes with Man United, it just feels like it's paper. Right, starting to leak, paper again, starting to leak, paper again, and just papering over the cracks. We need to fully build this team. Erik ten Hag wants to do that, but at the moment, financial fair play and not being able to get players out the door is holding us back a little bit. Tina G says the leaky roof is at Old Trafford. Yeah, that also does have a leaky roof. I was speaking to Ricky the other day. Apparently, someone said sort my mic out. I don't know if I hope it's okay. But yeah, also Maguire confirmed for the England team. We already knew that, but again, I said what I said on that. In my opinion, shouldn't be happening if a player's not playing football, but we all know Southgate, so it was bound to happen. But what was I saying then? Yeah, Old Trafford, I was speaking to Ricky when I was there. Like, it's such an amazing stadium. I know it gets a lot of stick off other fans, but I love the stadium. We've had so many memories there. Every time I go, I look at the pitch and I think, I honestly do love this stadium. It's amazing, I think. It's just the fact that it's been how would I put this? Like, the Glazers have just kind of watched Old Trafford deteriorate, become leaky. And, the hygiene in there isn't great. The leaks aren't good. And it is scruffy around the outside. But the actual, pitch itself and the stadium itself and the feel you get in there, it's brilliant. So it's so unfortunate that Man United haven't kind of upkept Old Trafford to the standard it should have been. And again, this is why they need to go and leave the football club. It's really, really frustrating kind of as a fan because it actually is such a good stadium. Like, it's a really nice stadium. It's just been kind of left there and not been upkept, which is what you would expect from the biggest football club in the world. But anyway, CZ Magula says, Beth, Amrabat can do everything Gravenberch can do and do more defensively. And then we have I don't know why it's coming up twice for me, but thank you for your chat. Joseph says, I had water dripping on my head at the game at the weekend. They literally just need to fix the roof. Exactly. So my analogy was quite good. And they can't even be bothered to, put a little bit of patchwork in for you. It honestly is, like, the mind boggles. Like, the biggest football club in the world and we've got a leaky roof. It's so... why? Is that how tight we are in financial fair play? We can't even afford to get the roof fixed. But anyway, a little bit more coming out from that Telegraph article as well, which I found interesting, is that Erik ten Hag considers the... Wait, I've just read that one out for you. Just read that one out for you. The next one I wanted to bring up is Erik ten Hag hope to see more players leave this summer for Manchester United. Erik ten Hag expected more players to leave this summer for Manchester United. All I would say on that is, Eric, this is Man United. Get used to it. I think every year a manager wants more players out than what ends up going. But this is kind of what Manchester United do. We never get rid of the amount of players that the manager wants. We never get everyone gone. I mean, what are the names that screams out to you? Harry Maguire? Easily could have happened. West Ham wanted to buy him. Didn't happen because we didn't have enough time to find a good enough replacement, apparently. The mind boggles again, because that deal was offered, I feel like around a month ago now. Maybe I'm losing track, maybe a few weeks ago. But it was offered with more than enough time to find a replacement. I mean, look at City. I mean, De Bruyne got injured, they went for Paqueta, that deal fell through, and they've gone and got Mateus Nunes for 55 million. What a great deal that is, by the way. What a great deal. So if you have a decent transfer team, you can find a replacement. Obviously, Scott McTominay comes into question. I don't mind McTominay staying as a squad player, but if you can get 30 million for him, we should have done it. Anthony Martial, no matter how much I love him, I think he's a really good footballer. He's constantly injured. I'm sure Erik ten Hag would have liked to get rid of him and bring somebody in that can actually stay fit and play. So that's one that could have gone. And Donny van de Beek as well. Like, we've ruined Donny's career, like we have. And I'm not saying it's all on us. He's not good enough to play for Man United. Like, that is pretty obvious. Like, he's not physical enough for the Premier League, and he's such a nice guy. But Erik ten Hag clearly sees that as well, because he's not really used him, and now he's not even part of the squad while he's looking for a move. But why isn't he gone yet? I mean, you're not telling me you can't even get 10 million for Donny van de Beek. So all these things, I'm sure ten Hag expected. I'm sure he expected them to go towards his transfer fund, and he expected replacements in. I'm sure he expected another striker. I'm sure he expected another midfielder potentially even as well. That's your Donny van de Beek, Maguire, McTominay, Martial leaving. Donny, Maguire, McTominay, Martial all leaving. That's another striker, your Gravenberch, and your Todibo. That's what it is. But we've not managed to do it. Someone tell me why. You get rid of McTominay, you have enough money to go and get Gravenberch in, because we're going to get Amrabat anyway. Doesn't matter it doesn't matter if McTominay's staying. We're getting Amrabat anyway. So if you get McTominay leaves, you go and have enough money to go and get Gravenberch. Martial leaves, you can go and afford to bring in another striker. I'm not saying it has to be a £100 million striker, but somebody that can come in and actually have some reliability. You sell Harry Maguire, you go and get a Todibo, who Erik ten Hag clearly liked. He was on near the top of the list. And then you sell Donny van de Beek, and again, that adds towards the funds for either a striker or a midfielder. So it's simple stuff, really, that you would expect, again, like I say, the biggest club in the world to be able to do. But it's not happened, and I don't want to put a negative on it, because I'd be really happy if we get Amrabat in, Cucurella in. I will be. And I think they're two good signs to close off the window with. But we can't lie to ourselves and sit here and say it's been a good window. We can't do it, because I've just told you there exactly what should have happened. And you've had 3 months. You've had the whole season of Erik ten Hag telling you, probably, what he sees in these players. He probably knew around January time who he was planning to sell in the summer. But realistically, he probably knew. So I won't take any excuses for this. I really won't. It's like, this is one that I can't believe. Nicholas Jackson, Chelsea, 32 million release clause. Man United are desperate for striker depth. Why have we not gone and done that deal when all the other strikers are around, like, 80, 90, 100 million? We end up buying Hoyland for 75. Like, Nicholas Jackson, what great striker depth that would have been. Lightning quick, looks really good at Chelsea, like he's got a lot of attributes. Young, 32 million release clause. I don't know how that's kind of slipped past Man United when they've been desperate for striker depth for a year. Another one, I'm not saying he's, at the level Man United want to kind of go for in the future, but Taremi, I think there was rumours of him going for 15 million euros. An experienced striker that can definitely do a job. Obviously, you wouldn't want him to be like your main man, the only one you're going to rely on, but someone with good striker depth, 15 million euros. Another one that's kind of slipped past us, which I don't know why we haven't gone for, with the lack of striker depth we have, but here we are. Risik Mungol says the recruitment team is incompetent. Simple. Yeah, exactly. Gift Orban, again, someone's brought up. I mean, he looks like a good player, obviously. he's definitely someone that's got a great career ahead of him. Akash, member for 16 months. We keep saying Erik ten Hag has spent this much and that much, but every transfer season we regress and we need even more next season. I mean, he's only had 2 summer windows, and this window, last window, you know, even though in the end it looks like we did spend a lot of money, because we did, but a lot of it was very last minute. Like Casemiro and Anthony were very last minute to appease the fans, because we were in crisis at the start of the season. This year, we've got some good players in. I do think that. Like, I think Mount is a good player, and Nana is, for me, a brilliant improvement on the keeper. A very good signing. Højlund, if he hits the ground running, you would think is a really good signing as well. So we've got some good players, and I do think that. But because we've not got everything we need, like we were massively in need of a centre-back, we were massively in need of another striker, we were massively in need of a defensive midfielder, like massively. Because we've not got them in, and I think we will end up getting Amrabat, then you start disregarding the other transfers, because you're like, well, we need them. And you know it could have happened. Like McTominay and Maguire sold, that can happen. So that's where the frustration comes from. With that one. And International says Núñez is better than Mount, and so is Gravenberch. I think Matheus Núñez is a very good player, a different profile. I'd probably say actually he's more suited to what we would have needed this year, to what Mount is. I wouldn't necessarily go out there. Maybe he is a better player from what I've seen, but he probably was better suited to what we need. And Gravenberch, I'm not saying Gravenberch is better than Mount. Gravenberch has a lot of potential, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's better than Mount, because I feel like he would be getting to, you know, he'd be trying to knock on the door to Bayern Munich's first team. He's 21. He has the potential to be better than Mount, but I'm not going to sit here now and say he's better than Mount. And I know a lot of people agree with that. Will disagree with that. Apparently, there is an Ornstein tweet. Please no, because I've just seen Ornstein Reguilon, and I've told you how I feel about Reguilon. No, no. I really hope this is spin to push Chelsea into accepting our loan fee for Cucurella, because I can't watch Reguilon at Man United. I just think he's awful. But anyway, David Ornstein said, Man United seriously considering signing Sergio Reguilon on loan from Tottenham. Cucurella still in play, but complicated by Chelsea appearance last night. Manchester United decide for football and finance reasons amid Amrabat pursuit. Right, so obviously we want Amrabat, which means we can't pay probably the loan fee that Chelsea want for Cucurella. Understandable. But just to kind of let this sink in. Man United seriously considering signing Sergio Reguilon on loan from Tottenham. Cucurella still in play, but complicated by Chelsea appearance last night. Man United to decide for football and finance reasons amid Amrabat pursuit, which makes me think, for football and finance reasons, you know, we want Amrabat, so if Reguilon's the cheaper option, we'll probably go for him. That is a blow. Because Cucurella, I watch and I think, wow, you actually, even though he had an awful year last year, I know he's a good player. I know he's got the potential to be a good player. You are bringing in someone who can be good. Reguilon is terrible, and I'm sorry, it's the truth. From what I've watched of Tottenham, he's terrible. And I don't want to sign someone who's terrible. I really don't. And it's not as if I'm saying Cucurella is the best left back in the world, because he's not, but he's someone that is actually decent. And I would have, if he started for Man United, if you know he was playing the way he did at Brighton, I would have no qualms about that. But Reguilon is just, for me, I've not seen any potential whatsoever. Reguilon. Oh, apparently I'm saying it wrong. But yeah, could be worse. I generally think if you bring Reguilon in, Dalot starts ahead of him. Absolutely. I think I honestly would continue with Dalot anyway, because I think Dalot played really well as an inverted left back. I've seen him do it before and he's played well. I think you've got to kind of let him continue as that, because he's probably the only fullback we have that can play that inverted left back role to the level he can right now, that Erik ten Hag wants, because of his intelligence and because of how good he's on the ball. I know it's only a backup option, but I still would have rather get the player that I think is better. And I think everyone can agree here, Cucurella is better than Reguilon. My opinion anyway. And he's someone that I think has, you know, the ability to make an impact for us. If push comes to shove and Reguilon has to start for Man United, I'm just going to be it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely someone I'm worried about and someone who I think isn't very good. And I don't want anyone starting for Man United who I don't think is very good. But this is where, if someone said to me now, right, you would get Cucurella and that's it, or you get Reguilon and Amrabat, I'd obviously pick Reguilon and Amrabat. So if that's the reason why we're doing it, I don't understand it, because again, it comes down to the reason I said financial fair play. We should have made outgoings happen. We should have foreseen the fact injuries can happen. You need to go for a last minute signing. But I can be okay with it, because if it means we end up having the money to get Amrabat in, because we've saved a little bit of money here on the Cucurella loan deal, it's embarrassing that we're talking in these terms, but I'll be all right with it. It's just not, it's one of them names, it's funny, I literally feel like I've jinxed it, because it's one of them names when it first cropped up, I was like, anyone but Reguilon or Marcus Alonso. And it looks like we're seriously considering Reguilon now, which is interesting, but it's not someone I want, but I think I've made my point clear on that case. Belites Abraham says, hi Beth, hope you're well. I missed the first part of the show. Is this going to be a loan move, or are we actually going to buy him on Amrabat? Hello, thank you for joining us, even if it is a little bit late. Basically, it looks like it's going to be a loan obligation to buy, with, according to the Telegraph, Man United looking at a fee between 22 and 26 million, discussing that fee with Fiorentina now. So it looks like it is going to be a loan obligation to buy, because Man United can't afford to go out and buy him now, but Fiorentina want to make sure they get a fee for him at the end of it if they do loan him. So that's where we're at right now. But what does everyone think? Give Alvaro Fernandez a chance. Yeah, he looks like he's going out on loan, and I said he's not ready. But I'd probably go as far to say I'd play him ahead of Reguilon. Yeah, I think I would. Because, by the way, I think Alvaro Fernandez has got a good future ahead of him. I think he's a good player. He's a good youth prospect that we've got in our hands. I've just always said I don't think he's ready to be plunged into a Premier League game, even though I think Dallo would start anyway ahead of him. But if we're going for Reguilon, then maybe give him a chance anyway. Bainesy says, Reguilon is nowhere near as bad as she's making out, to be honest. It's not that I think he's like a really, really, really like bad player. He's just not good enough for Man United level, in my opinion, from what I've seen from him anyway. I don't think he's very good, but everyone can have their own opinion on that. A little bit more to kind of touch on before the end of the show. It's always good when you get like a breaking tweet when you're live on air. We've got, coming from the Mirror, that Hannibal is set to stay at Manchester United following talks with Erik ten Hag. What do you think about that? Part of me is like, I would have liked to see him go out on loan to play first team football, because I don't think he'll get much of it at Man United this year, especially if we bring Amrabat in. But he's a player I see a lot of potential in, and someone I think who actually potentially has a future in Man United's first team. I really like him, so I'm happy that he's staying, and Erik ten Hag clearly likes him as well. With Kobe Mainoo's injury, it does make a bit of sense. And then also, Charlie McNeil to Stevenage on a season-long loan is done, pending medical. League One team. Good experience for him to go out and get that, so that's good. We need to be getting these players, playing first-team football, building up their physicality, because not everyone's going to make it into Man United's first team. But what you want to be doing from the academy is selling them. If they're not going to make it into Man United's first team, you want to be selling them for a good fee. The same way Man City do, the same way Chelsea do. So if these players are going out on loan and they're bettering themselves, that's good, because that means Man United could get more money for them. And this is one that's interesting. It's still on the cards that Alejandro Garnacho could get a new jersey number. Some official documents state he's currently without one, and it isn't an option on United's shop. We might even hear about this at the weekend, possibly along with Højlund's announcement. Interesting stuff. What number do you think Garnacho will get? Do you think he'll get the 17? We know he was obsessed with number 7. Mount's got that now. Do you think he'll get the number 17? What number do you think Højlund will get? I can see Garnacho changing shirts, but it'll be interesting to kind of see what number he does get. Everyone get your guesses in the comments what you think. I think he might get the 17. Maybe Højlund will get the 11. I know he wears it for Denmark, but at the same time, I don't really want anyone getting the number 11 because of the amount of bad luck it's had over the years, and we all know who had it last. So it's like, don't really want to put that on a player, but if he wants it, he wants it. Chris Andromeda says, not to get off topic, but what's going on with Pellistri? Is he still going on loan? I'd like to see him stay. Literally not heard anything about Pellistri in the last 2 days, so that'll be definitely one to watch coming into deadline day tomorrow. And don't we have a great deadline day stream day lined up for you? make sure you stay tuned to that tomorrow. We're probably going to get some action as well, so it's going to be exciting. Mark's doing some, studio's doing some. It's going to be a really good day. Got some special guests coming in. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And then the last little bit here that I've got is Southampton are pushing to sign Marc Jurado. Manchester United are currently in advanced talks with Real Betis. It will be a sale, not a loan. A right back that I thought looked quite promising, but you know what? If he's not good enough, better to get the money for him. And then Man United are also working on a loan deal for Shola Shoretire. United were in talks with Bolton over a sale, but they saw his price tag as too high. What we want is, again, I said, if these players aren't good enough to play for United, we want to be making decent money for them. This hasn't happened recently. It's still not happening because, Bolton won't sign Shola because the price is too high, and we'll have to wait and see what fee we get for Marc Jurado. So Marc Jurado. Why do I keep saying that wrong? But we want to eventually build that up. Sending players out on loan, getting them experience, building our youth team will make that happen. So just got to kind of keep pushing on. That's one. But yeah, Jurado is quality. I think he's good as well. Watching him in the youth team, I genuinely did think he was good, and I thought he had a lot of potential. Really good attacking fullback, but looks like Man United are looking to sell him. So, I mean, obviously there's no pathway to the first team for him anyway right now because you've got Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, who are both good right backs in my opinion. But he's still someone, you don't like to see these players who you think have a potential go, but if Ten Hag doesn't see a future in him, then we're better to get the money for him, I suppose. He came from the Barcelona academy. I know he did, but, it's up to the manager at the end of the day who he wants to keep and who he wants to sell. He's told Hannibal he wants to stay, so he obviously sees a future for him, at least. But anyway, that is the show today. The main bit of news we can take from it is the fee being discussed with Fiorentina for Amrabat for the loan obligation to buy between 22 and 26 mil. What I would say is absolute steal for a player of his quality at 27 years old. Would love it if we get him before deadline day. And I think Man United have to get this deal done, or else there's going to be like uproar in the fan base because we need that position. It's good to know that Erik ten Hag knows himself how much we need that position. Also, interesting to see Gravenberch probably going to Liverpool. I'm going to feel like you've missed out on that, but this is where we're at. We can only afford one, and this is the position Man United have put us in. Also, that David Ornstein, breaking news that Man United are seriously considering Sergio Reguilon. Not my favourite player, as you all could tell from my comments. I would have rather got Cucurella, but get in the comments what you guys think. Is all about opinion. But everyone, thank you for joining us. We've got a space going on the United Stand Twitter at 3 p.m. with some guests coming on as well, so make sure you go and check that out with our usual panel. It's really good kind of on them spaces, a little bit more chilled out. Get everyone's opinions in. Sometimes some beef starts, it kind of kicks off a little bit, so make sure you come and join us over there. Also then got another space later on at 7 p.m. with an Arsenal fan previewing the game of the weekend. Got the 8 p.m. show with Mark as well later. Deadline day stream tomorrow. There's so much to look forward to, and any breaking news in the meantime we'll bring to you as well. Lastly, before I leave, the last super chat in from LJ. Murto Madness, aka leading fans to madness with how Murto handles transfers, missing out on 60 mil from Maguire and McTominay is going to bite us. Well, we'll end on that note, but thank you everyone. Make sure you hit a like on the video going into deadline day, and I'll see you on the next one.